Hey, I'm going to be showing you how to use regional climate data to create two charts, one of mean temperature, one of precipitation for your city. Additionally, you're going to be asked to write an analysis uh, using the data that you collect. You're going to be using this document called Regional Climate Analysis Investigation. If you scroll down, you're going to see that you've already completed task one. You have described your climate, and you've also described how the regional climate drivers influence the climate in your region. You're going to be working on task two, using historical temperature data to predict future temperatures. You're going to also analyze how the climate has changed over the past century. You're going to use mathematical data analysis to describe changes in temperature. The final writing task is at the end here, where it says analysis. This is what the chart is going to look like for temperature by the time you're finished. Notice that there is temperature on the left, year at the bottom. It's going to span years from 1960, or who knows, depends, but anyway, 1960 to today, present. There's a title, there's a key, there are trendline equations that you can use to make predictions. So let's get started. I'm going to go back to the original document where it says task 2. I'm going to open this website. Utah State University is hosting a climate website with all sorts of, which collects, basically gathers data from weather stations globally. You're going to stay in the GHCN network. To find your city, you simply go to country. In this case, I'm going to choose Canada. And at that point, I could do a search, but you're going to see real fast that I have 109 pages to look through. That's a lot. So I thought it would be easier to go to the map and then zoom in. And now this step can take a little bit of time, and that's okay. Notice it's quickly getting populated with stations. This is to give you a appreciation for how much data is being collected by scientists around the world. White Rock, Cloverdale. So I'll find my city soon. Delta, Richmond, Nature, Vancouver, Sea Island, Vancouver International. Let's try this one. Notice when you click on a spot, it's going to the selected station appears on the right. When you find a station that works for you, you're going to click the bars here to view reports, and you're going to select mean temperature. Change it to English because that's what we've been studying. Now, you're going to choose a station that has good data. This one doesn't. You should really have a lot of data here and a lot of data here. So I'm not going to choose this station. You're going to notice it might take a few tries for you to find a station that has a significant amount of data collected. That one's also not good. Going for my third one. Man, I'm striking out. I can't remember which one I chose last time. And feel free to skip ahead to the point I find one. Oh man, this is bad. All right, this one's okay. I have a good set of data starting from 1958 going all the way to 2019. So I'm going to keep this station, Vancouver Harbor. I'm going to just get rid of the others since I don't need them. And the next thing I'm going to do is save the data. And it's going to save it as a comma-separated values document, which may appear as an Excel document in your downloads. Next, you can go to Drive, and you're going to create a new spreadsheet. When you create a new spreadsheet, you might title it right away. Vancouver climate data. You're going to upload a new sheet, so you're going to go File to Import. You're going to upload, and then you're going to select your file from your downloads. You're going to insert a new sheet, import the data, and you're going to title this sheet immediately. Something like mean temperature. Notice I have a lot of empty rows. I'm going to delete them because there's no data, no reason to keep them. And notice that you're still going to have spotty data here and there, but that's okay. Now, if I tried to graph all of this, it would be very complicated. So I'm not going to select all of the months. Though it would be interesting. You can see different things, right? You'll be able to analyze something new if you look at all of the data. We're just going to focus on the hottest and the coldest months. So hold down their command button. You're going to select the first column, the second column, which is January, that's generally the coldest month in North America, and July, which is generally the hottest month in North America. Insert chart. Immediately is going to make for you a line chart. Change it to scatter plot. You're going to notice right away that you can see that January is colder than July on average over the past 70 years. This is real climate data. So you've been studying weather patterns over 7 days. This is over plus 30 years. So this is a good place for us to start. And this should be familiar to you as we've been looking at this data and graphing. So next thing you're going to do is you're going to start customizing. You're going to change the chart title. I'm going to give you the first one. I'm going to say mean temperature for Vancouver. Then I'm going to change the subtitle for the years. 1958 to present. It's looking more official, right? I'm going to change my axis titles. Horizontal axis title is good. It is years. Vertical axis is missing, so I'm going to title that. It's going to be temperature in Fahrenheit. Not bad. That's all you need for titles. Series is where you're going to apply a trend line. Hit trend line, and then you can go to label and use equation. You can see that equations are already populated on the key. What do you think X represents? how are you going to use this equation to predict temperature? What does the equation represent? As far as other things to change, you might want to change the scale. So if you click on vertical axis, you can change the minimum temperature. We don't need 0. There's no values between 0 and 20, so I'm going to choose 20 as my minimum. And by adjusting the scale, you're going to see that it makes it easier to read. I might even change it to 25. Anyway, that's something you can play with. When I'm finished with my graph, I'm going to move it to a new sheet. And I'm going to title that sheet. At this point, you have completed making a mean temperature chart or graph for Vancouver. This is not a climograph, though. A climograph would also include precipitation. I'm not going to say it's easy to do, but it's possible to do it with Google Sheets, and that's something if you want to play around with that, I would definitely urge you or encourage you to move beyond. But for now, this will be just meeting expectations as just making a single chart like this for temperature and one for precipitation. To get precipitation data, you simply go back and you change their setting here to precipitation. Make sure you change it to English again, as it will be easier to understand, and get the report. Notice there's a lot more precipitation data. Don't know why. You hit save, and you go through the same process again for collecting precipitation data. You're going to import the chart. Go to upload, you select your file, you go to your downloads, you find precipitation, you change it to insert new sheet, import data, change the title of the sheet to precipitation, and you're going to graph. Same thing, year, January, July. And you go through the same process. By the end, you'll have 2 charts. There's plenty more you can do, plenty more for you to study, but this would be considered meeting expectations, along with the analysis. Let's look at that. For the analysis, you're going to have to describe how the climate has changed in your region over the past century. So over the past 100 years since the start of your data, how has the climate changed? Now, in terms of this, you're really going to only be discussing the temperature and precipitation. So I'm expecting you to discuss a relationship, like as, over the years, the temperature has increased or decreased, precipitation has increased or decreased, or maybe there has not even been a change, or maybe it went up over a certain time period and then it went down over a certain time period. That's up to you to evaluate. You're going to support whatever you're saying by using mathematical data analysis to describe changes in temperature. That means you should be doing maybe some calculations. You can select the difference. You can between 2 numbers. You can look at the percent increase over the time. And of course, you should talk about the equation that came up. And what does that slope mean for the mean temperature versus year graph? Lastly, you should use the slope to predict the mean temperature in 2050 and in the year 2100. I'd like you also eventually, as soon as I imagine this will take you the period, but next step is to look at more climate data. You've already done, you've already actually done step 3 at this point because you are looking at precipitation. However, you can go further in depth, and pretty much everything in this section is going more in depth, which I encourage all of you to do because this is pretty neat stuff. Thanks for your attention, and I hope this screencast helps.